everyone, my name is Jane Carmichael Norrie and welcome to my studio. This is the first in our series of the ABC of singing. A stands for alignment. It's really important before you start singing, don't just launch straight into it. It's really worthwhile for you to take a couple of seconds just to look at what your body is doing. See if you can notice if there's any bits in your body, any parts that are holding unnecessary tension. And what I mean by that, I'll give you a good example. That sometimes if you've had a stressful day at work, your body will be stressed because you feel stressed. Like your shoulders will be tense, and sometimes what I get, like quite often, is tension around my jaw. This is my problem area right here, and it's something that I always have to be mindful of, is making sure my jaw doesn't lock. That's the most common ones that people find when they have tension in their body, the shoulders or their jaw, but sometimes people also have it in the lower back. So doing some stretches and some exercises to help eradicate that tension will make your singing so much better. If your body is tense, your singing is going to sound tense, and if your body is relaxed, your singing is definitely going to sound more relaxed, and by that in turn it's probably going to sound a whole lot better as well. So when I'm thinking about alignment, I think about 4 or 5 seconds or something just before getting ready to sing, a quick checklist. Let's start with the feet. I know you can't see my feet, unfortunately, but never mind. What people usually do is that when they're a bit nervous, two legs are completely together like this because you feel a bit like freaked out or something. Trying to a wider stance is roughly hip width apart. Make sure that your feet are on the ground all the time when you sing. Another common thing that people do is when they get a bit nervous, they'll maybe put their weight on one leg and kind of fidget about a little bit like that. That's making your body work so much harder because not only is it trying to sing, it's trying to balance what your body's doing as well. So just making sure that you have your feet on the ground all the time. It's all about distribution of weight of your body. Don't make things unnecessarily complicated when they don't have to be. And when I mean about like keeping your feet on the ground, both feet on the ground all the time, it doesn't mean that you can't move. You can move, you can dance, you can do whatever, but it's all about keeping distribution of your weight through both legs, and that makes things so much easier. Next thing is to look at is the knees. Another common thing that people do is that they hold their knees really tight when they're stressed. So what I do sometimes, I just bob up and down. I used to be really bad with holding my knees tight and tensing them to the point, honestly, I didn't even notice I was doing it anymore. So something that I have to be quite mindful of as well is tension in my knees. And so let's go up to the next bit. Next tip that I have for you is to think about looking at your body but from the side. So if I turn around, this is actually a tip from the world of horse riding. If you look at your ankle, knee, your hip, your shoulder and your ear, they should be roughly in a straight line. And what is a common thing that happens with singers is that you're so thinking about projecting your voice out the way, you don't realise, but over time, and you've been practicing a lot, there's a tendency for singers to kind of think a bit forward all the time before you know it, and make sure your knees go a bit tense and your body's actually leaning forward and you don't mean it to. So look it over your shoulder and just thinking about your knee, ankle, hip, shoulder and ear. Bringing your hips and your shoulders back into alignment with your knees can really help. I've mentioned the shoulders as well. Try and do some shoulder exercise, even if it's like putting your hand on your shoulder. That's something that I do all the time. Just roll your shoulders around like that and go around the other way. Any gentle exercises to kind of get the shoulders relaxed would be brilliant for you. And the final thing to think of, and it's something that's really important, is your head. Another common mistake that people do is that when they sing high notes, they want to sing up high and they tilt their head up high. Or if they want to sing a low note, the same thing happens, the head comes down low. For this, when you're singing, make sure that your head doesn't move. Use your earlobes as a guide. If your earlobes are pointing to your shoulders, they're in the right position. So if you're singing too high, your head will tilt up too high and your ears will kind of point forward. If it's too low, they'll point backwards. Use the earlobes as a guide and they'll be in the perfect position.